Welcome to Unapologetic Atheism. Here, we reject the idea that religion deserves reverence simply because it's old, powerful, or popular. We believe religions are untrue and promote an inherently harmful denial of reality. Our mission is simple: to end religion's dominance over our lives and to end it now. Not someday, not when it's convenient, not when everyone feels ready, now. This is the anti-altar call, an opportunity to undedicate your life to Christ, reclaim your autonomy, and join a community of secular humanists committed to uplifting marginalized voices, defending science, and fighting for the genuine liberation of human beings everywhere. I'm Dr. J. Bundy, aka Pocket Locker 86, an evolutionary biologist, biological anthropologist, and educator currently teaching anthropology and sociology at the collegiate level. I'm a former Christian youth minister and program director from a family of 5 generations of ministers. A church drummer and audio engineer turned scientist, organizer, political strategist, and unapologetic truth teller. It used to be my job to preach the gospel to kids. Now it's my mission to share the good news that the irrational gods we were taught to fear and obey do not exist. If you're here to think freely, live boldly, and build a better world rooted in reality instead of mythology, welcome. This is Unapologetic Atheism. Let's lock.
Ready for takeoff?
Whoa. Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Brian James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Took the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof on my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that tag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin', now I'm Chris Paul and Cats. Got him steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Pocket Locker podcast / hot program. A little bit of scheduling snafu with my one black friend, so we'll be back next week, but decided to just go live, give y'all a little something so we could gather around our normal Sunday time. But yeah, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and just talk about what's really going on. So it's been a lot of people really waking up from MAGA, and it's interesting to watch. I'll say that. But one of the things that I really see happening is that people are really kind of starting to like say this thing basically where like, MAGA is making Christianity look bad or MAGA is ruining Christianity's reputation. And fuck it, like it should be hurting Christianity's reputation and maybe it is, but it's really kind of a problem that people don't realize that it's not actually MAGA ruining Christianity's reputation. That actually this is who Christianity has always been. Christianity has always been untrue. It has always been evil. It has always been ugly. And so these people just waking up is kind of very interesting because they're treating this like this is some kind of new phenomenon. Like, oh, like, wow, all of a sudden MAGA is making Christianity look bad. In reality, though, it doesn't mean shit. It's not it's not gonna cause any waves. It's not gonna make any motion because at the end of the day, Christians don't care how ugly Christianity is. Christians don't care how much Christianity is on the wrong side of history. What's going to happen is when the secular needs of society force us to restrain Christianity, force us to do what's right, because it's just the right human thing to do, Christians are just going to show up, take credit, and then say, look, this is what the true Christians, this is what the real Christians have felt and wanted all along. Because again, people don't get their morality from God, they get it from humanity, and they give God credit. And you already see this. This is exactly what the James Tellerico movement on the left is. I pretty much told you this country was going to try to fight back against Christian nationalism with more Christianity. The whole James Tellerico situation is proof positive of that, and that's just going to continue. And so all that's going to happen is they're going to tell us, no, 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 the MAGAs, they weren't the real Christians, but the Tallericos and the liberals and the leftists that showed up to fight MAGA, they are the real Christians and Christianity saved today. So it really doesn't ever fucking matter. Just like, again, Christianity, why didn't stealing the land and dispossessing and genociding Native Americans give Christianity a bad name? Why didn't slavery ruin Christianity's reputation? Why didn't Jim Crow ruin Christianity's reputation? Why didn't mass incarceration ruin Christianity's reputation? Why hasn't all the fucking international turmoil we've caused ruined Christianity's reputation? So it's just very interesting because to me it kind of shows just how hyper focused people are on white America. And so it's like, oh, now white America is being made to look bad because of MAGA. So now all of a sudden people are like, oh my goodness, like they're really negatively impacting the reputation of Christianity. And it's like, well, look at all this other shit. Go talk to our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. They'll tell you, Christianity's reputation should have been ruined a long time ago. And then it's like, are you down with the cause? Are you happy that Christianity is finally being exposed for what it's always been? Or are you on like some level mourning it? Like, are you kind of wishing for, a return to the good old days where we all had to fucking pretend Christianity was true and we all had to fucking pretend Christians were good people? Like, to be honest with you, I'm happy that Christianity's reputation is suffering because, again, it's bullshit. It's always been evil. It's been on the wrong side of history all throughout history. It deserves to be fucking ruined. I'm tired of this shit. But yeah, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So y'all already know what it is. First off, let's get into the mode. I hope y'all are all well. I hope you all have had a decent weekend. I hope everybody's chilling. What up, Trees? Yeah, let's get into the mode. A little cheers, Trees. Appreciate you. Always good to see you, brother. Thanks for all your help and support with all the motherfucking bullshit. Yeah, damn, right? We need to give some motherfucking hugs up in this bitch. I don't even know if my shit gonna work. Let me try. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the first clip. So first, we're gonna look at this lady talking about some how I'd like to take a how MAGA ruined Christianity. I mean, she's not wrong, but let's see what she's talking about.
What is wrong with these Christian nationalists? I mean, genuinely, what in the... There will be cussing. This is your warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, scroll away. Okay, guys, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Okay, I genuinely... The reason why I'm so irritated, there's two reasons. One, I realized when I'm laying in bed last night, right? And I'm scrolling on my phone. I know I shouldn't, but I do it anyway, okay? So I'm scrolling. And now I realize that every single time that I scroll and somebody says anything, God, Jesus, but boop, I'm automatically gone. Not because I have a problem with Jesus or God, but because I am so over the bullshit in this.
Yeah, I don't know. I do that too, though. I really do. That happens to me a lot, where I'll see a video and somebody sound like they about to give some sort of super bass take, or they about to talk about something really cool, and I'll just click on it, and in a few seconds in, they start talking about God or Jesus, and I'm just like, I'm out. I don't even care anymore. Like, people have to just understand it is what it is. I get it. You're religious and God is everything, and you know, everything you goddamn do, you gotta acknowledge him in all of your ways and all of this bullshit. But as soon as I hear that shit, I just can't take you seriously. I mean, that's really what it is. It's like, are you a grown ass person in the year of our not Lord 2026, and you're really sitting here talking about God and Jesus? Like, if you have any inclination to do that, I'm already over it. But again, that's most of this fucking country. Most of this country's in a goddamn cult. You know, it's like 75% of Americans belong to one of the major religions of the world. They're Christian, or they're Muslim, or whatever. They're Jewish. You know, they're I don't know what we're supposed to do with a population that's this profoundly fucking underdeveloped.
This country, with being talked down to, right? Instead of being in community with these Christians, that it has literally destroyed the brand of Christianity, okay? And don't y'all come at me and be like, oh my God, Christianity's not a brand. Okay, there are 4,000 religions in the world. Pick a lane, okay? And then I don't know if y'all saw not James Tallarico, one of the preachers, a MAGA preacher who apparently has something to do with Hegseth. He's over here running his suck talking about, well, I pray for the death of James Tallarico. And then, of course, he does that, like, schmarmy Christian guy bullshit where he's like, I mean, you know, like, we pray that he dies to himself and then, like, rises again in Jesus Christ. Because, like, oh, my God. Y'all, the way I am over it, all right? Now, let me
look, he did that shit. I don't know if y'all saw the clip. It's probably actually worth playing the clip real quick, because it's so wild the way he says it. Let me see. I guess he's probably no, he's not gonna play it. Let me see. It was crazy the way he said it.
Hegseth is that he's been very clear about what he believes and what faith communities he sees himself as being a part of.
This is
He's
not
written
it.
books. He has appeared on podcasts.
Here.
I pray that God kills him. Ultimately, that means killing his heart and raising him up to new life in Christ.
Do you see that? Do you see that? I mean, like, this is the shit they get away with.
I pray that God kills him. Ultimately, that means killing his heart and raising him up to new life in Christ.
I mean, this is just so fucking gross. It's like I'm so fucking done with these people. I don't even, whatever, dude. Like, first off, just come out and say it with your whole chest that, like, y'all are just mad that, like, they're really just mad that, like, some Christians want to be nice. That, like, liberal people have also been like, we believe in Jesus too. And again, like, low key, I'm kind of with them. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, low key, I'm kind of with MAGA. Not in the sense that like I'm politically and socially aligned with MAGA, just saying I want them to keep Christianity over there. I'm just saying, like, I also would love it if Christianity stayed over there on the motherfucking far right. I also oppose all mention of Christianity or any other religion on the left. So when the motherfucking left starts talking about Jesus and the right goes, these goddamn motherfuckers trying to take our brand, I want to fucking kill them. I'm literally sitting over here going, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Bible War around 12,000. So I'm not with it either. But basically, they just get so mad that I don't know. I guess they want to wish death upon these motherfuckers. Like, okay, fine. That's just fucking ridiculous. But then the whole, oh, but what we ultimately mean is we want him to die to himself and be reborn. Like, nigga, you just heard we here to talk about the fact that this motherfucker's a born again Christian. We're here to talk about the fact that this motherfucker's a born again Christian. Meaning what, nigga? Meaning he's already allegedly died to himself and being reborn again to Christ. Oh, you don't believe him? Oh, you think because of his political views, you don't see the evidence of it? He needs to do that. He needs to run that back. He like, nah, bro, your politics fucked up. Your baptism is sitting on some bullshit. Well, look, all of y'all sitting on some bullshit. You've allegedly fucking died and been reborn to Christ, and you're a motherfucking racist. So apparently, the proof positive that you're looking for that a motherfucker's truly died to themselves and been born again is that they wake up and all of a sudden they're anti-LGBTQ and they're against women's bodily autonomy. Like these people are the worst.
Say, okay, I had a Catholic parent and a Protestant parent, so I went back and forth every freaking weekend in church, okay, and multiple days during the week. I went to a Catholic school. I went to a Christian college.
Hey, Victoria.
For the first part of college. So y'all, when I tell you I have been deep in the faith, okay, I used to be a hardcore Bible thumper, not like the kind where I was like pushing it onto you, but where I was like really involved in like reading my Bible, all that, all right? But let me tell you what, moving to the South has completely destroyed that. Not just for me, but for my children as well, okay? And
now, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear, like, she moved to the South, like, she saw what Christianity, how it really operates. And not only is she like, fuck that bullshit, but she can't get her kids into it. To be honest, like it's actually better this way. I know people really have a hard time understanding what we're saying to you, but subscribe to Uncle Bobby, Little Chrissy channel. Uncle Bobby says it all the time. It's much easier to stab somebody from 6 inches than from 60 feet. And so what happens is when you grow up with these liberal churches, when you grow up in the we love everybody and we're just here to sing songs and be positive and love our neighbors and all of us are educated and we all have good middle class corporate jobs, like it's just so fucking wishy-washy. It's just so fucking goddamn nothing. It's just so fucking soft and meaningless that like nobody realizes that it's utterly horseshit, right? They just avoid all the ugly parts. They skip over the shit that's clearly fucking absurd and flying in the face of science. So you grow up in that shit and you think you doing something. You think you making moves. You think you fucking somebody, right? And so it's very difficult to deconstruct from the liberal Christianity because you've just been so fucking brainwashed with the bullshit. But when you grow up in like the South or the Bible Belt or in a family where it's really hardcore or a church where it's really hardcore or a denomination that's really extreme, it's actually better for you, believe it or not, because it's way more likely that you're going to experience the cognitive dissonance. And then it's also, again, think about what we've been trying to get people to understand. The only way to get these people out of these motherfucking cults is that the price of staying in the cult has to be higher than the price of leaving. That's why our external social pressure is so important. But think about it. When you're in a feel-good, liberal, everybody just loves Jesus kind of cult, then there's no real cost for being in the cult because nobody's calling you bad names, nobody's telling you anything, everybody's going along, everybody's getting along with you, everybody's telling you how great and wonderful you are. So it's very difficult to deconstruct that. But when you're in a hardcore alt-right fucking Christo-fascist fucking the libs are coming to take our guns cult, then all of a sudden people are telling you, yo, that shit is racist. Yo, why are y'all such homophobes? Why are you so paranoid? Like, why are y'all such fucking psychos? So there's a lot more social pressure to get the fuck up out of there. There's a lot more social pressure to get the fuck up out of there. And it kind of just goes hand in hand with the fact that basically we live in a society where we only accept the religiosity of people who don't take their religion that seriously. Like if you don't take your religion that seriously and you're more or less a normal person, you're just nominally religious, then people are like, yeah, that's cool, whatever, like, do you. But when you take that shit seriously, people are like, yo, we can't survive you. Like, you're fucking dangerous. Like, you're a threat to society. Now, that right there should tell the motherfucking wishy-washy ones exactly what the fuck is up with their religion. Like, y'all are not really down with these faiths. You just keep pretending it. And basically, I'm going to keep telling y'all what I really, really feel. And that's like, that shit's on the rest of us. That shit is on the rest of us. I don't blame the motherfucking cultists. They're in the goddamn cult. I blame your ass. I blame your ass for being way too motherfucking nice to these people. I blame your ass for not holding these people's feet to the fire about the fact that their religion isn't true. Y'all act like the separation of church and state, which is a constitutional protected right that says the government is not going to kick down your door to try to stop you from praying, means that our grown asses should not be telling these people to stop it with this fairy tale fucking bullshit. Y'all got me fucked up. It's our fault, y'all. We allow ourselves to continue to be dominated by these motherfucking cultists. It's time to look these people in the face and be like, I'm so sick of this bullshit. I'm so fucking fed up. I'm so tired of the nonsense. But anyway, like, yeah, that's why her and her kids got up out of there, because when you're in the South and you're seeing people who you're living amongst people who take the shit so for real, they take it so seriously, you realize very quickly, like, this is unsustainable.
Like who the fuck I'm talking to in this video. I guess I'm commiserating with other people who feel like they're tired of the fact that this 10-year death cult has fucking ruined
up,
Christianity in this country. Or potentially maybe speaking to one of you death cultists who y'all love to be in there just like, you know, saying shit in my comments. And the funny part is like y'all actually think I give a fuck. I don't. It's hysterical to me. Anyway, here's the thing. What I do not understand, how the fuck are you going to have Christian nationalism when you can't even get Christianity under control? Now, if y'all knew a goddamn thing, then you would know that Christianity or religious affiliation, church attendance, whatever, has been on the decline in this country for the better part of 50 years, and specifically the last 10 years.
But again, like, this is where the connections motherfuckers need to start making. Why do y'all think it's been on the decline for the last 50 years? It's been on the decline for the last 50 years because the shit that you're seeing with Donald Trump is merely a manifestation of what they've been about for the last 50 fucking years. For the last 50 fucking years, they've been trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, trying to do neo-colonialism, totally sold out to corporate oligarchy, totally supporting the ending of the social safety net, totally supporting the deregulation of businesses, totally fist fucking the environment, totally fist fucking the international order, having fucking Zionist propaganda all throughout the motherfucking party, putting fucking Israeli flags in their goddamn state houses. And obviously racism. I should just be like racism. But that's always been the fucking their agenda. So Trump is not, again, a deviation from the motherfucking plan. He was merely an escalation of the motherfucking execution, because they seized the moment when they had somebody that could give them the type of power that they had previously been wanting. Somebody that could let them step from, you know, out from the shadows and really just say what they've been meaning to say with their whole chest. And again, the real problem that y'all motherfuckers need to wake up to is the fact that Christianity isn't true. And Christianity isn't moral. And Christians have always been on the wrong side of history. And the entire fucking story of this country is the need to resist Christian influence. Like every fucking right in this country. See, I'm trying to layer in the education on this channel so motherfuckers understand what is going on. But part of the reason I need y'all to understand resistance history is because you need to understand that every fucking right that any fucking marginalized group in this country has had to be fought for, bled for, and died for. Now, when you start to ask yourself the right questions, you go, okay, so Jay, you're telling me everybody has had to fight, bleed, and die for every goddamn right that we have. Who the fuck did they have to fight, bleed, and die against? Who was trying to keep them from having rights? Who was trying to fuck them all the way up? Who is it that was oppressing them such that everybody has had to fight, bleed, and die for every goddamn right we have up in this bitch? Oh, the goddamn Christian establishment. So this is America. America has always been the white supremacist, patriarchy, capitalist fucking hellhole, literally stealing the land of the Indians, stealing the bodies of the people of Africa, and turning the Japanese, oppressing the women, oppressing the immigrants, oppressing the LGBTQ people, oppressing the poor people. That's the whole story of this country. And every single fucking step forward has meant fighting against the fucking Christian bullshit. So we will go much further, much faster, with much less resistance when y'all let go of this Christian horse shit. This is who we've always been. Thanks for dropping that link, PC.
MAGA. And y'all, I did a whole ass video about it.
And buy the book. Buy the Resistance History book on YouTube. The shit comes out, I think, June 2nd. We gonna be reading that shit on June 3rd.
Go watch it if you don't believe me, because all the numbers are in there, all right? Or you can refer to my friend Dr. Google and he will hook you up. I mean, this does not make sense to me. How the fuck are you gonna sit here and try, so y'all can't even get people to come to church, okay? You can't even get people to want to be Christian at this point. Y'all, literally MAGA, y'all have driven so many people, good people who actually are Christians, okay? You've driven them out of church because you politicize the church. So
again, good. If you're a good person, your ass need to get about the church. If you're a good person and we want you to believe you want me to believe you need to be about the church. So it's good that those people did that. It's good that they fucking left. But yeah, I mean, listen, Christianity's trash. Again, it's not true and it's fucking evil. So the only people left are the fucking dum-dums. It's the real crazy ones and the dum-dums. Like I'm sorry. It's the crazy ones, the dum-dums, and the young people. The young people are only there because they're still getting their education. The young people are there because, they were coerced by their families into this shit. So the young folks are there because they don't know no better. But, as they get their education and they fucking get their shit together and they figure out how the world works, they'll be out. Young people are not staying in the motherfucking church like that. They're leaving the church, faster than any previous generation has. So I know a lot of time people always talking about there's a revival and the growth of the youth ministry and all of this bullshit. All that shit is very, very temporary. That's just an intensification of insecurity about the declining attendance in the church. So they double and triple down on indoctrinating and brainwashing their children. But again, unless they force those children to stay very close to the cult and go to culty ass Christian colleges, which many of them will, but most of them won't. Most of them will just break away from that shit as they come into their own. Okay, so then you're left with the corrupt motherfuckers, like the motherfuckers that really do believe all the bullshit. So they got to hang on to it now because they're basically totally fucking corrupt and they can't function without that shit. And then you got the dum-dums. You got the dum-dums that just need to feel good and need the softy, and they're just so fucking emotionally malformed and clearly lacking major shit. Like, I'm sorry if you're a grown ass person and you believe this bullshit, like something wrong with you. Like you really do actually need help. The problem is you live in a society that refuses to label your particular brand of mental illness because there would just be too much political and social fallout. So you don't realize you need help, but you need help. Like, I'm just telling you, as a former cultist, and many of the people in this chat could tell you the same goddamn thing. Like, they fucked you all the way up. Your brain is malformed, and you got a lot of work to do. But it's all right. You could do it. We've done it. It's all love. You can do it. You'll be all right.
Obviously, your whole church situation is not doing well, right? And then you want to say, oh, you know, it'd be better than just church. You know what? Let's do a bet. Let's fuse church and politics in the United States of America. And then we'll just call it Christian patriotism or Christian nationalism. And we'll just say that this was meant to be a Christian nation when the fuck it was. All right. So then you want to take your views, which obviously y'all need to fucking work on, refer to your lack of attendance. Okay. And your constant criminal arrests. Y'all are literally like guardians of the pedophiles. That is dead serious. That's y'all. All right. The GOP. And specifically Christians, it seems like. So you can't even get your church situation under control, but then you think, you know what? We should take this message, this whole plan, and we should just push it top down into everybody, into every orifice of all of everybody's business in the United States. And we should make everybody be Christian because we're so cool. No, y'all are not cool. Let me break it down. Let me tell y'all what y'all are. All right. You're not Christians. You're full of fucking shit. Okay. And don't come at me talking about, oh, well, if you curse, then you're not a Christian. Okay. Well, please refer to the fact that y'all cheer when people get locked up in cages, stripped away from their families, blown up in schools. Y'all don't give a fuck about anything that's Christian. So damn sure don't fix your mouth to come at me. And do y'all know how stupid you sound? You're like, oh my God, they're persecuting Christians. All while y'all are literally persecuting everybody else who has any other faith that isn't Christian, or maybe no faith at all. You guys are the ones doing the shit. And then you're like, oh my God, we're under attack. No, you're not under attack. We just want y'all to tap your brakes and stay the fuck out of our lives. And let's look at what modern Christianity has to offer to a woman, okay? Let's see. Oh, a patriarchal society where the man is the head.
She really going
The man
off.
is supposed to lead the house. This man can't even lead himself. These MAGA motherfuckers are out here voting for someone like Donald Trump, yet you want me to submit my discernment and judgment to a man who can't even understand that motherfucker is a con man? I mean, make that shit make sense.
But this the same shit. It's the same shit overall. Like, it's the same shit with the identity of a Christian man. Like, the fact that these motherfuckers are out here like, I'm an alpha man. It's like, bro, you're a church boy. Do you understand that there is nothing less alpha man than being a motherfucking church boy? Like, dog, like, listen, I'm here to tell you something. I grew up, again, far more religious than most of these motherfuckers. There's nothing cool about that shit. Like, what, like, where did y'all grow up? Where the fuck did you go to high school? Where the fuck did you come up with this crazy ass notion that being super religious is somehow cool, is somehow rebellious, is somehow badass? Like, no, you are the nerdiest of the nerds. Do you know how it's considered dorky and nerdy to like love your school or to like be cool and be like all nice to your teachers and to be excited to do your homework? Do you know how like cool kids, like, what the fuck kind of weirdo are you over there all excited about doing your homework? Y'all are the motherfuckers who were excited to go home and go to Bible study and read your Bibles and say your prayers and go on church field trips and shit. Are you fucking kidding me? To think that this shit is cool, and now you as a grown ass man fix your funky ass mouth to tell your wife and kids that they need to fucking go to church every goddamn Sunday morning, so your grown ass can sit there and let another goddamn grown ass man tell you how to run your affairs, tell you how to fucking live your life, how to run your finances. You go to him when your fucking marriage is having trouble, so he could remind you how to lay it down. And you're gonna come talk to me like you're some kind of alpha man. Bro, go read your Bible and pray to Jesus, bro. If you don't get up out my face, bro, you are the definition of compliance. You literally are complying with the religious dominant framework status quo in your country. Oh my God. You are literally a man defined by his obedience to an external source. Please, somebody explain this shit to me. Please, somebody explain this shit to me. When did religion become cool? When did religion become cool, and why didn't anybody tell me before I left religion? Because I'm pretty sure being dedicated to your religion is the nerdiest, geekiest, loserest, most compliantest shit imaginable. You literally follow extra made up motherfucking rules. Think about that. These motherfuckers are trying to pretend they're cool, trying to pretend they're alpha man, trying to pretend they're motherfucking rebellious, and they follow extra motherfuckers. Being cool meant doing your own thing. It meant bucking the trends. It meant coming up with your own style. It meant being motherfucking unique. It meant bucking against the system. It meant going your own goddamn way. The rest of us are merely following the rules we have to motherfucking follow. I probably drive a little bit faster, but I don't want to get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? I probably do this or that, but I don't want to get in too much trouble. You know what I'm saying? The ops is pissing me off. I probably roll up on them motherfuckers and stomp them down, but I don't really want to get in that kind of trouble. I don't really want them kind of problems. So I guess people who I probably shouldn't really name in public get to see another day without being in the motherfucking hospital. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, the rest of us are constrained by the laws of the land and our lack of desire to deal with the consequences of violating those laws. Here come these religious motherfuckers that are going to follow a whole extra set of rules that nobody's around to fucking enforce, but somehow they're the rebellious cool. Just no, let's just go.
So what are you guys selling to women? You're not offering us anything that we don't already have.
Yeah. Go watch Pure Flicks, nigga. come talking to me about your cool and your rebellious. Nigga, go watch some more Pure Flicks.
We're over your bullshit. You don't want partners, you want fucking prisoners. And this is not about religious persecution, all right? Because it's not that you think that people are coming after your religion or trying to make it so that you can't be Christian. It's that you want to be the default, period. Because y'all, and this has been scientifically proven, go look it up, not that y'all would ever bother to do any motherfucking research, all right? Y'all are the biggest bunch of snowflakes. Y'all need
the biggest bunch of snowflakes.
There are no other religions. Because your faith is literally hanging on by shredded dental floss, all right? Because you believe in nothing. You believe in a man, and the wrong man. It's not even Jesus. You believe in Donald Trump. That's your faith. That is not Christianity. That is cult behavior. And this is not about values. You don't give a shit about that. Because if your values require enforcement, that's not faith, that's control. And then my favorite argument, and this is where, like, it's like you guys are putting like a shelf with like, that has nice underlighting, you know what I mean? And top lighting, so it's like, oh, look at me. You guys are so hung up on this whole traditional family, one mom, one dad, no homosexuality, transgender people are evil. And all that does when you do that is it tells me that you are so fucking stupid, all right? Do you know that fucking transgender people and homosexual people have been around for fucking ever, for thousands and thousands of years?
Exactly. And the real talk is just like, honestly, like, so many societies were just so cool about it. Like, I actually have to teach a lot about this shit. I teach a class called Sex and Evolution, and I also teach cultural anthropology. So both classes talk quite a bit about these issues. And yeah, my students this week are reading, in my Sex and Evolution class, they're reading about gender diversity in North American, like, indigenous populations, and also the gender conception of travestis in Brazil. And in my cultural anthropology class, they've learned all about like two-spirit people and stuff like that. So people are waking up and people are realizing like these people have always been with us and our cultures have always figured it out. It's always been all good. And yeah, we're sick of this bullshit. Like we're just like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense. Like the fact that y'all keep making such a big deal about this and people are tired of it. And I'm glad. That's the one thing I can say about young people is they're far more tolerant than previous generations and they ain't with the fuck shit.
Okay? In every corner of the globe, and just for fun, all right, you have same-sex pairings in like 1,500 different animal species. So riddle me that. I guess they're all woke, right? Is it that they're woke, or is it that you are a bunch of fundamentalist shitbags who think that anybody who doesn't do things your exact way, right, is somehow morally broken because, of course, you're the authority because you're a white male Christian in America. All the while, it is your group that is constantly having pastors and politicians arrested for having child porn and all this other nonsense, right? How about this? How about if you guys actually walked the walk, okay? And you did something with Christianity, right? You actually had families. You were taking care of your wives. You were taking care of the communities. You know what? You would draw people back to the church, right? Then women would be like, oh, these men maybe they know what they're talking about.
But see, bitch, you better stop, though, because she leaning into that Talarico shit. You see how she took that hard lean into that Talarico? That's that Talarico Christianity. And I'm telling you, I don't want to deal with that shit. People think I guess I am evil. Fuck it. I'll just deal with it. I guess I'm evil. But look, I don't want Christianity doing better marketing. I really don't. I don't want Christianity involved in mutual aid. I don't want Christianity involved in loving on the LGBTQ people. I don't want, listen, y'all. Because you have to understand too that like we need socialism. We need to get rid of capitalism. We need to down with the patriarchy. So every single time we let Christians come in and save the day with just a little bit of liberal bullshit, we kick the can down the road. And we don't make the type of transformative changes to our institutions that really need to happen. So listen, y'all, I'm trying to live to see a brighter day. Okay? I made it somehow to 39. We'll see if I could hit that big 4-0. Y'all better keep that in mind, by the way. We're supposed to be doing the big 4-0 this year. We're going to have to do something with that. But it's like when I look back, it's like, are we really moving in the right direction? I don't think so. And so now I'm like, damn, I may not even have another 40 in me. You know, so it's like if I'm gonna live to see a better world, motherfuckers, y'all better get to it. We ain't got time to be playing up in this hole. So I don't want the Christians coming to save us. I don't want none of this liberal Christian bullshit, okay? The shit didn't work. The system failed. Let's make a better system. But yeah, she was dope. That was dope. But I'm not even gonna play the rest of it because we're not here to give them ideas. We're not here to give them good ideas. All right, let's watch this Drewski shit. This is fucking epic.
Get on your feet.
We call this shit how conservative women in America act. Yo, this shit has Erica Kirk all sorts of tripping. This shit went hella viral.
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the...
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha.
And Bella will have all organic Pop-Tart.
Organic.
Yes, everything organic.
Four, 3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you ready?
This is so good.
3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs.
He's like, say what?
Yes. Because they are the ones who mattered most.
Like the final straw.
Nah, Erica doesn't like to look in the mirror. This held the mirror up to her and she lost her goddamn mind. But again, y'all, it's like this is how the shit has always been. They are always on the motherfucking wrong side of history. I've never given a fuck about anything Drewski has ever done. I've never even really understood who he is or really why he's a celebrity in the first place. And quite frankly, as a wrestling fan, I get annoyed every time they do some shit with him because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this person. Please get him off my screen. But that shit was funny. That shit hit. That shit was funny. That shit deserved to go viral. It apparently has triggered the right. It has triggered all America. But again, this is what it is. This is who y'all. This is you're a public figure. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. All right, y'all. Let's take this quick commercial break real quick, and then we're gonna get into the main event. I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's broadcast. Us. That's right, motherfuckers. This shit right here is real, independent, secular media. We have no sponsors, no advertisers, and we sure as hell don't have billionaire backers. We don't think billionaires should exist, so they don't call, and even if they did, we wouldn't answer. Let's keep it all the way real. We are not popular. Conservatives don't like us because we tell the truth. Liberals don't like us because we tell the truth. Believers don't like us because we tell the truth. And honestly, even most atheists don't like us because we tell the truth. So if you want to support a channel that's actually independent, not corporate branded, not billionaire funded, not algorithm approved, you can do it completely for free. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share the content far and wide. Put other creators on to what we do. Tell them to check out the channel, encourage them to collaborate, or maybe even debate live with the community. And if you want to help keep the lights on or dream with us about a future where we can do this full time, you can drop a few ducats through Ko-Fi or become a member. Most importantly, stay connected with the movement. Join our Discord and pull up to our live headquarters inside Work Adventure. All those links are in the description. This isn't passive entertainment. This is a takeover. We are taking over the internet. All right. Appreciate you. There you go, PC. Purpose over popularity. Yeah. For sure. Actually, as y'all know, the more you move with purpose, the less popularity you can expect, unfortunately, but we good with that. All right, so look, let's get into this because this to me is what waking up looks like, and you'll notice how it kind of ties a thread to even what we were talking about earlier, because really the theme for today is like, if you think about the first thing we was talking about, where she's talking about how MAGA is ruining Christianity. Again, hopefully it is, but the thing that people are failing to see is that, again, this is what it's always been. And to be honest, the problems we face now, in a sense, pale in comparison to some of the great crimes against humanity that Christianity has always been on the wrong side of. So it's important that people wake up to understanding that this is what Christianity has always been. And then when you get into like the whole, mocking Erica Kirk thing, it's like that's a perfect example of the problem with the modern Christian movement. But when you start to realize it's always been there, it's much easier to see through it and to leave. So this to me is an example of a person who is deconstructing, but in a very particular way, to where they're actually able to see that this is what it's always been, and they're kind of awakening to the real truth of the faith, and it leads to such a more thorough and comprehensive kind of liberation, where you can really actually leave it alone.
Like the final straw, let's say that. The final straw where I was like, you know what, I'm completely done, done. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kalita Salia. For those who are new, welcome back. For anyone who isn't new, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So about a year ago, I done a video on why I left the church, and it basically took me 9 minutes to simply explain that I left because I was far from happy and I was far from myself. So if you do want to watch that video, you can click this button here and that will take you to that video. But anyway,
I would actually be interested in watching that, because it's interesting that she said I was far from happy and I was far from myself, because I think, if I'm understanding her correctly, she's talking about why she left the church. I was interested to connect it to, like, you leave a church if you're personally unhappy with the church, right? But leaving the church is not necessarily leaving the faith. And leaving the faith is not necessarily leaving religion or, deciding that you don't believe in God anymore. So that's one of the things I'm kind of learning as I continue to go, is how to distinguish. I don't even want to say if they're phases, because they're not necessarily phases, because they don't necessarily one lead to another. But in a sense, they can be different phases in a person's journey, or they can just be different aspects of deconstruction. In other words, some people deconstruct from a church. My mother deconstructed from churches, right? Like growing up, we saw churches going in certain directions, and we would say, we're not happy with this church anymore, right? But we didn't necessarily leave the faith. We just went to go find different churches. Same thing can happen with the denomination. You could be unhappy with one denomination, but go to another. And then there's a different thing if you actually leave the faith. So I think this is her talking about why she no longer like identifies as a Christian, right? So that's different than deconstructing from a church. And then I see a lot of people who leave the faith but don't necessarily leave religion. In other words, some people leave. Sorry, I should be more specific. I should really say some people deconstruct from the religion but don't leave the faith. Oh, what do I mean by that? So they deconstruct from the religion. They decide, I no longer want to be part of the religion or any church or sort of, religious institutions, right? But they still identify as Christian. So they haven't left the faith. And most of us are saying colloquially, they haven't really left the religion, but there is a meaningful distinction there, right? And then other people leave Christianity, but they're still what you would call a person of faith, or maybe even a person of religion, because they still believe in a God or whatever, right? And then there's people who deconstruct theism, and then they're no longer theists, but they still believe there's something, like there's a higher power, or there's quote unquote something, or they'll go to some spirituality or some woo-woo or some whatever, right? And then there's, somebody like me who becomes ultimately what you would call like a philosophical naturalist or ontological naturalist, or somebody who just doesn't believe in anything supernatural at all. But yeah, I'm realizing that, these are different kinds of deconstruction, if that makes any sense. And then sometimes there are different phases, but again, sometimes people just deconstruct in sort of one direction or another, and they're not necessarily gonna move into one of the other ones.
Though I had done that video, I still pretty much had the belief system.
Yeah,
I believed in it basically. Yeah, I believed in it. I just didn't go to church. But this video right now is basically
the
about
Christians
why
that don't
I've
want to
just
be called
left it
Christian.
completely, like religion, Christianity, the whole of it. I'm just
Okay, so yeah,
so if you are
that's cool.
interested
Okay,
in finding out why, then be sure to stick around.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've seen all of it. I think I just seen like a little, like maybe like the first couple minutes and decided it was good for the show because I do like to react organically. But yeah, I'm glad that she kind of. I'm glad. I think I'm kind of understanding her.
So yeah, I did plan to like write notes so I didn't go off a tangent, but I don't have time for that right now, so I'm just gonna
We ain't got time for all that shit, girl. Let's roll.
Just flow out. So the truth is there was many steps to kind of lead up to me no longer believing in it. There's like loads of things. I'm not going to get into that in this video right now. I'm basically going to share in this video what was my, let's say, like the final straw. Let's say that the final straw where I was like, you know what, I'm completely done, like done. And to just get to the point, God is wicked.
Oh, now see, this is so interesting because one of the things I like to really get into this with people, whether I'm talking to somebody and I have the opportunity to get into it, or I'm just trying to basically analyze their content, is like, what were those steps for you? What were those things? What called you out of it, sort of, and what I always want people to go to is it's not true. It's not fucking true. Like, like when did you wake up and have to just realize this shit is not true? And then, part of it for me is I'm trying to reconstruct my own deconstruction and I can't. I don't know how many of you know this or have heard me talk about it, but when people like interview me or try to have conversations with me about my deconstruction, I think they often think I'm dodging their questions or that I resent them or that I don't want to talk about it. But it's genuinely, I have a hard time putting it together because it was such a long process that I remember certain phases, I remember certain incidents, I remember certain moments, but it's very difficult for me to be like, it was this, and then it was this, and then it was this, or it was this year, or it was this many years ago, or I remember the exact day. Like, it's very, like, I can't do that. And it's almost kind of embarrassing for me, actually, because you would think, somebody who makes this type of content, like I must be asked about these things and I must have a really good response worked out for these things, but I don't. So I think I'm always curious, genuinely curious how other people who have deconstructed navigate and retell their own stories. So it's interesting to me that she seems to have like zeroed in on the fact that it was evil, the fact that God is the bad guy. I find that really fascinating. Because in my head, at least, I feel like I remember being concerned about whether or not it was actually true. And then after, I was really convinced that it wasn't true, it was easier for me to reevaluate it and feel like the weight of the moral issues. But see, like now I'm wondering if that's even true. I'm wondering if maybe I was wrestling with some of the moral issues and that's what led me to a greater skepticism about the veracity of it. See what I'm saying? Because I don't really know, because I don't really remember it all, it's hard for me to put that type of thing together. And who knows if anybody really knows or remembers, but I tend to believe people when they tell their stories, especially a story like this. So it's interesting to think that, at least as best she recalls, um, that's the sort of moral issues got her questioning maybe more than the truth issues. And again, who knows? We have a powerful cumulative case exactly against the Christian insanity that is Christian. Exactly, it's crazy. When did I realize that Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy weren't true? Yeah, that's funny. Is like Mr. Linux Noob is like, I feel like I should have. Now that I'm older, I feel like I should have deconstructed a lot earlier. And I was talking to ChatGPT about this the other day. I don't know, because sometimes I don't have anybody else to talk to. But I was processing the fact that I feel some kind of guilt about not deconstructing sooner. And even for like my relationship with my family, like it's like I blame myself for not deconstructing as a kid. Like in a sense, like I wish I was like Sumami, and I wish I realized as a child that this was all bullshit. But Sumami was tortured for it as a child. She was, abused about that. And I would have been too. And, I just was a kind of a religious obedient kid. But part of, I think, coping with the loss of family relationships on my mother's side of the family over the religious conflict and trauma, it's like I blame myself, because part of me feels like if I would have figured it out the way I figured out about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, then like I would have been able to expose it to my family as a kid. And then it's like this whole recreation of my whole life history, where then somehow that would have made it safer for me to not be a believer now, but to still have the relationship with my family. So it's totally unrealistic. It's like a totally unrealistic fantasy. It's like it's like literally just that could never have happened. That could never have been my life story. But for some reason, I still carry like this kind of guilt, this feeling that it's partially all my fault because I didn't see through it when I was a kid. And yeah, I don't know. Probably gonna have to like work through that with a therapist at some point.
That's basically it. God is absolutely wicked. He is the character of the Lord God in the Bible. He's a monster. He's literally a monster. And
there it is. He's a monster. I'm so glad she said it. That feels so validating for me, because I'm always talking about these people worship the monster. And I say that, and even in my conflict with my family, I said that. I told them that. I was like, look, y'all worship the monster. I said those exact words, y'all. I said, y'all worship the monster to my mother, because they do. Like God's the bad guy. He murders the whole planet, right? He endorses slavery, he endorses the genocide. He women are property. He all the things y'all know. And it's like people treat me like I'm being crazy, like I'm taking it way too far, and I'm like, don't gaslight me. Don't gaslight me. Like anything else that did this, right? Like, how do we talk about Hitler? How do we talk about Hitler? Hitler has shit on Yahweh. So when we say he's a monster, we're really being understated. We really don't have words for this type of evil. If we're honest about it, even most of the monsters in the fictional shit that we use that term for, they operate on like a much more limited thing. They just want to like fuck up the hero of the movie, or they just want to fucking, I don't know, like run an evil business. You know, maybe some of them, you know, want to like destroy the planet and like get it over with or whatever, right? But like even that type of shit, it like pales in comparison to like the real fucking evil of Yahweh. Like the evil of Yahweh is on a whole nother fucking order of magnitude, is the term we'd say as scientists. Just like you have to add so many fucking zeros to figure out like how much more fucked up Yahweh is. And we just don't have a better fucking expression for it. So like, he's a fucking monster. But then people make it like we're the weird ones. Like we're taking it too far. Like we're doing too much. And it's like, no, like y'all worship a fucking monster. Stop this shit.
The monstrous things that was done, I still was kind of like, but the final straw was when I accepted the fact that this character, the Lord God in the Bible, kills babies. And from that moment, I was like, no. I'm finished. Like, I don't want no association with it. I'm done.
That's awesome.
You know, because that's sick. I don't know if it's because in that, you know, year and a half, I'm raising my own child, and to comprehend what that would be like.
It is hard, PC. Appreciate you.
It's sad. And, you know, it was done in the name of the Lord God, and it's just like, nah, it's sad. Now, there was a photo that I seen on Facebook, right? And I'm gonna put it up here. And as you can see, the man's basically saying that if
it says, I would kill 1,000 children if God asked me to. That's because I have faith. As an atheist, you can't possibly know the joy of faith. If the Lord commanded me to rape and kill my own children tonight, it would be done by morning. You can't shake my faith. Banning you. Damn.
tells him to rape his children.
Whoa, that's Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort said that. Whoa, I didn't realize it was Ray Comfort. Wow.
Rape and kill his children, then they'd do it by morning, basically.
Wow.
And that is just sickening. Now,
wow.
Showing that to some Christians, they'll be like, oh, that's disgusting. God would never ask you to do that. He would never ask you to do that, you know.
Wow.
But the reality is, when you actually read the book, the Bible, when you read the book, that happens on many occasions, like throughout the Bible. So the truth is, though, what this guy said was disgusting, that technically is the type of faith, as he was talking about, that the Christians should have. And it's sick. It's really sick. And literally, for me, it was the whole children thing that just topped it off. I'm just like, nah, I'm finished. And, you know, I shown that picture to someone, and again, it's like, oh, you know, it's sick. You know, God would never ask you to ask anyone to do something like that. And they just like distort the image of God, etc., etc. And I was like, yeah, but the reality is God's said it and done it many times in the Bible.
Exactly.
And then the response was, yeah, but that was during war times.
The excuses.
I'm sorry, but when US soldiers and British soldiers go to third world countries and we see pictures of them near dead bodies of children, we get disgusted. It's horrible.
That's right.
So why on earth is that okay? Because God did it. You see what I'm saying? The moral there is disgusting, whether it's in war or not in war. Why are you killing babies for? Why are you killing children? You know, it's sad. It's really bad. Sorry, that's my door just opening and closing because of the wind. But yeah, so that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to get to the straw, really, the last straw of why I was like, nah, it's done. You know, I was not interested in it.
That's
and sadly
great. Yeah.
For situations like
that's
that,
beautiful.
many people justify it, and how I've seen that as it's like, you know, when someone's in a terrible relationship and you're on the outside and you can see that it's terrible, and you're like, Leo, you need to come out of that. Look, it's just killing you, you know, it's really bad. But the person in the relationship can't see that for themselves. And every single bad thing that that person does, they justify it. Like, nah, but you know, they try and make up some excuse and justify the reason for them doing that bad thing. And of course, the good things are just like amplified, aren't they? And that's how that's how I see the Bible and Christianity now. Every single bad thing is justified. Every single thing. When something is so clear that that's just wickedness coming from God, it's clear, it's wickedness. Man even says it. He says it, you know, but
he says, I give you evil commands.
There has to be a justification for it as to why that is okay. But something that simply just says God is good, well, why isn't that justified? Can we justify if that's actually true? Let's look at what he's done and his actions to see if that's true. But then, of course, the only thing that people say is because he sent his only son, begotten son, to die that we might live. That's the reason, and it completely missing the fact that I'm just gonna stick on him killing babies for now. There's so much more.
There's so much more, right?
It's just for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. It's just like an abusive relationship.
And again, like this is why we have such a hard time with like the Epstein shit, because these people are, you know, harming children and potentially, you know, there's stories of them, you know, doing all this terrible, evil stuff with the babies too. And it's like, don't act surprised that we live in a society that's not doing anything about it, because we live in a society that most people are in a cult where they worship a God that commanded this type of behavior, and they worship that God. So you just have to accept that that's the morality. That's the morality of the society we live in.
And many people just justify the wickedness. Now it's okay. I'm not saying, oh, you're just focusing on the wickedness and you're ignoring the good.
Welcome back, Kyle.
No, I just think it's important that people who live by the good and etc., they also acknowledge that the wickedness is there, and they don't just cover their eyes to the messed upness that's actually happened. Accept it, you know, and just And adding to my story, I think the reason why I was able to see God's wickedness more clearly without thinking, oh, this must be justified, is because I obviously I stepped away from church, didn't I? So I didn't have that constant programming, because it is a program. Everything in the world's a program. I didn't have that constant programming saying, God is good all the time, he's merciful, he's just, he's this, he's that. I didn't have that. So imagine after time that was lifted, and when I'm reading the Bible for myself.
Oh, okay. So this is important. So what she's connecting is that her leaving the church, her not being happy in that church and leaving the church, like she said at the beginning, she still believed in the faith, but she was unhappy in that church. So she left the church. Now what she's connecting is the distance from the church is what allowed her to have more critical thinking. And now when she's thinking more critically, she doesn't have the church basically telling her every Sunday, you know, like reinforcing the cult bullshit. So she's connecting that leaving the church gave her sort of the space and the freedom she needed. And that's got me wondering about a lot of our deconstruction too, including my own. Like, would it have been possible if I was more intensely involved? Because I definitely remember some periods where I was more intensely involved in churches as a young adult, getting me more into the faith. And now I'm wondering if I really could go back together and piece together my deconstruction. And again, I can't. That's something I really struggle with. I'm wondering if I would find that as well, that I would find that sort of the critical periods in being able to see through the bullshit coincided with periods of distance from church. Not that I had left the faith, but maybe I just wasn't involved in a church at the time, or wasn't playing, because me as a musician and a sound person, it tended to be like, am I playing at a church, or am I involved in the church, doing like the sound ministry and stuff? And as I would go through different phases in my life, I have to move or change schools or whatever like that. Sometimes I just, hadn't established myself within a church community. So, yeah, I'd be curious to look at that.
Self now with my own eyes, I'm able to actually see. I see like all that stuff, and it's clearly there. And I know it, not all of the text I had seen when I was deep into it, but I know that there were some texts I kind of did read, and I did have a thought at the time like, why is God doing that?
Yeah,
but again, because I had that programming of God is good, is this, is that, I justified it in my mind like, oh, there must have been some reason, or God knows all things. Some things are mystery to us and we'll never understand. They were the reasonings I had because that was being programmed in my head. But like I says, because that programming wasn't there no more, I was able to see the wickedness for what it really is.
That's so important.
I was speaking to someone as well, explaining to her about some things that I'd seen in the Bible. Some things are funny, some things are good, some things are just like, what on earth is this? But I says the reality is, if someone just picks up this Bible without being told from anyone, like, oh God is love, and God, just not being told any of that.
Yeah, and you just read it on your
God
own.
as wicked.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. It's only the people
it's so good.
that have that, even if it's in their
y'all. But see, we have to we have to intentionally take language from each other. I remember, my dad is really good. My dad's really heavily involved in politics, and he's, a media figure and a MC and all of these things. So, he's good with words. And a lot of our conversations when I would grow up is, dealing with something, and I talk to my dad, and he'd be like, let me give you some language. Or I say, Dad, I need some language, and it's like, I'm dealing with something, and it's like, you don't know quite how to say it. So it's good to be very intentional. But this is language that we could use, right? And it's very clear what she's saying, and we should use it. If you were to read the Bible without the programming of a church telling you who God is, you would walk away thinking God is evil. Like, that's it. Like, it's very clear.
Not being told any of that. God is about being told from anyone, like, told. But,
Let me see if we start here.
But I says the reality is, if someone just picks up this Bible without being told from anyone, like, oh yeah, God is love, and God, just not being told any of that, they would see God as wicked. It's as simple as that. It's only the people, I truly believe, that have that, even if it's in their subconscious mind, that they've been told and it was pumped in there as a child, or they've just heard it from somewhere, like, oh, maybe that could be a thing, Jesus could exist, and yeah, he did come and save us, and he loves us, and, but without having none of that at all touch your mind, I can guarantee someone reading it would just see God as wicked.
Yep.
Just completely wicked. And yeah, so that's the reason why, basically, that
hey,
I
Patty.
just don't want no association with it.
Hey, X.
None at all. And personally, I think, like, some people watching this...
Yeah, X, this is a good point. I talk about this sometimes when I'm talking to people, but it's one of the gendered expectations that I hate. is people expect that because I'm like a man, my life should be, disposable. I should be willing to like fight and die for a cause. I should be willing to sacrifice myself for others. And yeah, when we talk about, crimes against humanity, we do specifically talk about killing women and children, but act as though killing the men is okay. And that's actually something that comes from these fucked up ass systems, right? In a world of, everybody has human value, all lives would be considered worth protecting.
Like, oh, jump and say some annoying comments like, oh, you're going to burn in hell, or you will find out on Judgment Day when you're burning. Yeah, I've seen them comments and I'm just like, oh my love, not on my video personally, but on some like on some posts and that on Facebook, the things people say, my life, it don't make no one want to go quicker to the religion. But anyway, what was my point? Damn, I forgot my point. But yeah, so that's it. God's wicked.
God's wicked. There it is. That's so good.
I think it's fair enough, really. As well as God just being wicked.
But notice how now she sees the whole thing. Notice how it's not this like, oh, somebody said something hurtful to me. Oh, MAGA's making Christianity look bad. Like, no, she now, this is what I mean when I say this is what waking up looks like. She has now seen the wickedness of the God character. There's no unseeing that. She now sees God is wicked, and now she can leave the whole thing alone. And remember, this is not her leaving the church. She talked about being disappointed or not feeling satisfied with the church she was in, but she made it very clear, I left that church, but I was still a Christian. She said, now I was able to see the wickedness of God for what it really is. Now I'm done with the whole thing. And that's what people need. When people keep talking to me about, oh, MAGA's making Christianity look bad, or, the anti-LGBTQ stuff is making Christianity look, it's like, no, you need to see that this is what it's always been. Christianity is fundamentally fucking evil. When you start thinking, oh, the good Tallaricos, oh, the James Tallaricos and the liberal Christians, oh, they're great, they're doing it right. Oh man, I love these people over here, they're so wonderful. You fucking up the whole game. Nobody wants to play with this bullshit anymore. Again, all you're doing is asking the good liars to enter the chat so they could bullshit the rest of us, so that the fascists could come back later and take over again. Like, no, like, again, the liberal nicety Christians are cherry picking just as hard as the super evil ones. And when you realize that the fundamental character of God is fucking wicked, the only thing to do is to resist and oppose Christianity. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? So it's just time. It's time. And yes, that means we have to create a situation where there are consequences for the nice liberal Christians. It has to become more costly for them to stay in the religion than to leave it. And it means the rest of us have to say, come on, you're okay, I get it. You love your neighbor as yourself, but why do you love this God? Why do you keep trying to convince us that the God of the Bible is moral? Like, read your fucking book. Like, I'm sorry, like, if you're going to be a Christian in my face and tell me, oh, like, you're nice, you're one of the good Christians and you love everybody, read your fucking book. I'm going to tell you that's not consistent with your book. And it would be better for you to leave that fucking book alone and actually become a decent fucking person.
And there's a lot of stuff that just, like, strange. I think it's fair to step back and away from it and not associate myself with it until I fully understand what it is.
There it is.
The truth is, when I fully understand what it is, I probably want no more association with it, or I might want more association with it. And I think that's absolutely fair. So without any people commenting down below like, you're going to burn in hell or blah, 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 it's important to let people go on their journey, whatever it is. And wherever they end up, that's where they end up. It's as simple as that. But yeah, that's the reason why. If you guys want to know like more of the reasons that, like the things that I myself had seen in the Bible that kind of led up to this point, then let me know. If you want to, also I've not put any scriptures up on this video. If anyone's interested in knowing where them scriptures are, again, let me know. I'll do another video and I'll do more.
It's like I read this out to my students because I was talking to them about how, you know, these creationists are always saying that evolution is evil, and if we accept evolution, it's going to lead to all these evil things like genocide and racism and all this stuff. And so I started reading a list of the top 10 evil things that God does in the Bible. I'm like, is this your guy? And that's how I feel about liberal Christianity. Like when you come to me as a liberal Christian and tell me you get your morality from the Bible, I'm gonna go straight to God drowned the whole planet. I'm gonna go straight to God commanding genocide over and over and over and over. God commanding the murdering of babies. God commanding slavery. God commanding a woman to marry her rapist. And I'm telling you the same thing to you liberal atheists. When y'all come at me telling me I got to get along with a liberal Christian because of their morality, I'm going straight there. And I'm gonna ask you that. I'm gonna say to you as a liberal atheist, you want me to get along with a person who worships a being that commands genocide? You think I want to be politically aligned with a motherfucker that worships a being that commands genocide? You think that's who I want to do my political organizing with? Got me all the way fucked up. All right, gang, look, it's time for me to get up out of here. If y'all want some more content, keep it locked right here because I'm getting ready to go live to work on my 3D model of a donut and plate. So most of y'all probably won't want to watch that, but that's what I'm gonna be doing on the channel for a couple hours. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get set up to do that and switch over, and then I'll be back live working on that. And yeah, otherwise,